Would you rather pay taxes on the seed or the harvest? That's the question that separates average retirement accounts from millionaire-level strategies. The Roth IRA lets you pay taxes on the tiny seed right now so you can keep the massive harvest completely tax-free later. And if that sounds like a dream, just wait, because what's coming up is the real playbook to becoming a tax-free millionaire using a Roth IRA. No fluff, no guesswork, this is how it's done. Roth versus traditional explained. Let's start with the foundation. There are two main types of IRAs, traditional and Roth. Both help you save for retirement, but they operate in totally opposite ways. Traditional IRAs give you a tax break up front. Whatever is contributed can be deducted from taxable income that year. Sounds great, until retirement rolls around. That's when the bill comes due. Every dollar withdrawn gets taxed like regular income. So if that $7,000 turns into $100,000 over the years, taxes are paid on the full $100,000 when it's time to spend it. Now flip it. Roth IRAs ask for taxes up front. That same $7,000 comes out of post-tax income. But then, something magical happens. Every single penny that grows in that Roth IRA, it's tax-free. Withdraw it decades later, and there's no bill from the IRS. That same $100,000 stays right where it belongs, in the account, untouched by taxes. So imagine two identical investors. One chooses a traditional IRA. The other chooses Roth. They both invest $7,000 and both watch it grow to $100,000. But when it's time to take it out, the traditional account holder hands a chunk over to the government. The Roth investor walks away with the full $100,000. That's not just a tax advantage, that's a freedom advantage. Now here's something most people don't know. Roth IRAs have income limits. Not everyone qualifies to contribute directly. For 2026, if someone files taxes as a single person and makes less than $153,000 in modified adjusted gross income, they can contribute the full amount. But if income falls between $153,000 and $168,000, contributions get phased out. Above $168,000, direct contributions aren't allowed. For joint filers, the range is even higher. And for those who earn above the limit, there's still a way in. It's called a backdoor Roth IRA, and it works like this. Contribute to a traditional IRA, then convert it to a Roth. Yes, it's legal. Yes, it's widely used. And yes, it's one of the few ways high earners can still take advantage of this tax-free machine. The millionaire math, let's talk numbers. Most people are surprised at how powerful a Roth IRA can be with just steady, consistent investing. The current contribution limit for 2026 is $7,500. For those age 50 or older, there's an extra $1,100 catch-up allowance, bringing the total to $8,600. That's more than previous years, where the cap was $7,000 and $8,000 for older investors. But here's the fun part. Watch how that $7,500 can multiply. Take a 25-year-old who maxes out their Roth IRA every year with $7,500 and earns an average 8% return. By age 65, that single account will have ballooned to about $1.9 million, and all of it is tax-free. No income tax, no capital gains tax, just smooth compound growth. Now start 10 years later, at age 35. Max out that same $7,500 a year at 8% returns, and the end result is still strong, but this time it's around $800,000 tax-free. Start at 45, that's when things really tighten. Now the Roth IRA only grows to around $330,000 by age 65. The penalty for waiting isn't just about missed years, it's about missed compounding. The earlier money starts growing in a Roth, the more time it has to do its thing. And this isn't some fantasy math, these are real-world projections based on conservative average returns. Some years will be better, some worse, but over decades, this is what the market tends to deliver. So yes, becoming a Roth IRA millionaire is possible, not with luck, with consistency. When those numbers are slowed down and really looked at, something important becomes clear. This growth doesn't happen because of perfect timing or brilliant predictions. It happens because money is allowed to stay invested long enough to stack on top of itself. Each year's contribution doesn't just grow on its own. It builds on every dollar that came before it. Early contributions matter more not because they are larger, but because they are given more time to compound. The first few years often feel underwhelming, and that's where most people lose patience. The account balance moves slowly at first, sometimes barely looking worth the effort. But compounding works quietly, almost invisibly, until enough time has passed. Then the curve bends, growth accelerates. The same annual contribution suddenly produces much larger gains without adding a single extra dollar. That's the moment most people wish they had started earlier. Waiting doesn't just delay progress, it permanently reduces what compounding can do. Even increasing contributions later rarely makes up for lost time. This is why consistency beats intensity. Small, regular investments done year after year outperform big bursts done sporadically. The Roth IRA rewards patience more than aggression. It favors people who show up every year, even when the market feels boring, uncomfortable, or uncertain. Over decades, those steady contributions transform into something that feels disproportionate to the effort involved. That's the quiet power behind these numbers. Nothing flashy, just time, discipline, and tax-free growth doing exactly what it's designed to do. What to buy inside it. Opening a Roth IRA isn't the full strategy. That's just the first step, because here's the trap that catches tons of people. Money gets deposited into a Roth IRA, but then just sits there in the default cash settlement fund. earning next to nothing. A Roth IRA isn't an investment by itself. It's a container. What matters is what goes inside it. So what goes inside? Start with target date funds. These are set it and forget it options. Pick the fund that matches the planned retirement year, 2040, 2050, whatever, and the fund automatically adjusts over time. It starts aggressive with more stocks and gradually shifts toward bonds as retirement approaches. It's simple, balanced, and smart for hands-off investors. Next up is the 3-fund portfolio. This one gives a little more control while still being easy to manage. Think total US stock market, like VTI, international stocks, like VXUS, and total US bonds, like BND. That's full global diversification in just 3 pieces. Prefer something even more straightforward? The S&P 500 Index Fund is a classic. Funds like VOO or IVV track the 500 largest companies in America. They're cheap, proven, and deliver strong long-term returns. No matter which strategy is chosen, one thing matters above all: keep those expense ratios low. Anything above 0.1% is eating into future returns. The lower the fee, the more money stays inside the account, working for the investor instead of the fund manager. And yes, all of these options are available inside Roth IRAs at major brokerages like Vanguard, Fidelity, Charles Schwab, and others. Set it up once, automate contributions, and let compound interest take it from there. And here's where the real magic starts. Not in opening the account, but in making the right choices inside it. Leaving money parked in a Roth IRA without investing it is like putting seeds in a garden and never watering them. The account exists, sure, but it's not growing, and growth is the whole point. That's why choosing investments with intention matters. For someone just starting out, target date funds are a lifesaver. They're not just simple, they're smart. The fund handles the heavy lifting behind the scenes, adjusting automatically as the retirement date gets closer. But for those who want a little more say, the 3-fund portfolio gives that perfect blend of simplicity and control. It's globally diversified, low cost, and balanced without being overly complicated. Each piece serves a purpose: domestic growth, international exposure, and stability from bonds. It's a system that's worked for decades. Then there's the S&P 500, arguably the most recognizable index in the world. It's not flashy, but it's powerful. It lets people own a piece of the country's biggest companies: Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, you name it. And all of these options share one common rule: low fees. A few percentage points might not seem like much, but over 30 or 40 years, they can drain thousands from a portfolio. That's why keeping expense ratios under 0.1% isn't just a recommendation, it's a requirement for long-term success. And thanks to competition between brokerages, these investments are now more accessible than ever. Setting them up takes minutes, automating them takes seconds, but the results can compound for decades. That's how the Roth IRA goes from a passive account to a powerful engine for wealth, by making sure what's inside it actually works. The secret benefits. Roth IRAs are known for the tax-free growth, but they've got a few tricks that don't get enough attention. Here's the first one. Contributions can be withdrawn at any time for any reason without penalty or tax. That's because taxes have already been paid on the money going in. So if $7,500 is contributed, that $7,500 is always accessible. It's like a secret emergency fund that grows tax-free in the background. Most people think retirement accounts are completely locked away until age 59 and a half, but Roth IRAs offer flexibility that breaks that myth. Now, the earnings, that's different. Withdraw earnings before age 59 and a half and before the account has been open for 5 years, there's a 10% penalty and taxes on the growth. But wait, there are exceptions. Buying a first home? Roth IRAs allow up to $10,000 of earnings to be withdrawn penalty-free for qualified first-time homebuyers. Become disabled? Penalty-free. Paying for qualified education expenses? There's some leeway there too, though it's not quite as clean as the others. And here's a big one. No required minimum distributions, RMDS. Unlike traditional IRAs, there's no rule forcing withdrawals at age 73. That means the account can keep growing untouched. It can even be passed down to heirs. For legacy planning, that's a huge deal. There's more. Rollovers from 529 college savings plans are now allowed into Roth IRAs, subject to certain limits. It's a new rule that opens the door to repurposing leftover education savings without wasting the tax benefits. All of this adds up to one thing: flexibility. Roth IRAs are one of the few retirement tools that let people stay in control, not just during retirement, but along the way too. And that flexibility makes a big difference when life doesn't go exactly as planned, which, let's be honest, is most of the time. Having access to contributions at any point means there's a layer of protection built into every Roth IRA. It's not just about retirement anymore, it's about financial resilience. A surprise medical bill, a sudden move, a career change, whatever the reason, the money that's already been put in can be pulled out without getting penalized. That freedom removes the fear that often comes with locking money away. It gives people the confidence to invest even when life feels unpredictable. And the lack of required distributions means there's no ticking clock once retirement hits. There's no forced withdrawal, no minimum amount that has to be taken out each year, like with traditional accounts. That gives retirees the option to let the account keep growing or use it when they choose. It also gives more power when it comes to tax planning. Money can be pulled strategically when it makes the most sense, not because the government says it's time. And when the account is passed down, that tax-free status carries real weight. It becomes a gift, not just a fund. Add to that the ability to roll over unused 529 plan savings, and it's clear the Roth IRA has evolved. It's no longer just a retirement account. It's a flexible, tax-efficient financial tool that adapts as life changes. Few accounts offer this level of control, this level of freedom, and this level of protection, all wrapped into one. That's what makes it so powerful. It's not just about the numbers. It's about having options when they matter most. The bottom line: when it comes to building wealth, the government rarely gives gifts, but the Roth IRA is one of the closest things to a gift in the entire tax code. Tax-free growth, no taxes on withdrawals, flexibility with contributions, no required minimum distributions, the ability to pass it on to heirs. That's rare. That's powerful. And yet millions of eligible people don't max it out. Here's the reality. Anyone who qualifies for a Roth IRA and isn't using it is voluntarily choosing to pay taxes they don't have to pay. Every year missed is another year lost to compound growth. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being consistent. $7,500 a year might not seem like life-changing money, but give it decades and it turns into a tax-free fortune. It's not a gimmick. It's not a hack. It's just math on your side. That's the part most people underestimate. They think it has to be flashy to be effective, but the Roth IRA doesn't need headlines. It just needs time. It doesn't require perfect timing or market predictions. It rewards habit. Quiet, consistent action beats loud, occasional effort every time. And yet, it sits there, underused by millions who qualify. That's not because it's complicated. It's because it doesn't feel urgent. But that's the trick. The earlier it starts, the less heavy lifting it needs. A few thousand a year in your 20s can outgrow tens of thousands a year in your 40s. The Roth IRA is one of the rare tools that gives control without locking you in, offers flexibility without penalties, and delivers results without noise. It doesn't care how big the paycheck is, it just cares how much gets contributed and how long it's left alone. And while most financial tools come with strings attached, this one hands the keys over completely. Control the timeline, control the withdrawals, and keep every dime of the growth. That's the kind of advantage that doesn't just add up, it multiplies. So for anyone wondering whether it's worth the effort, the answer's simple. If the Roth IRA didn't already exist, people would be begging for something like it. But it does, it's here. And the only question left is whether it gets used or ignored while time quietly slips away. If this breakdown helped make Roth IRAs make sense, consider sharing it with someone who's still sitting on the fence. It could mean the difference between a taxed retirement and a tax-free one. And if you haven't opened a Roth IRA yet, this is the time. The longer the money grows, the bigger the tax-free harvest later. Like, subscribe, and check out the other episodes in this series for more tax-free investing strategies that can transform your future.